crave.
Master?
I crave entertainment.
The only thing that really opened this week was Renfield, so...
Well, let's eat.
Jesus, Mitch. Oh, sorry. But, Mitch, we haven't even gotten to our non-spoiler section yet.
All right.
Hi, friends. I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we are Excellent Little Podcast.
Presenting you a little movie podcast starring Zach and me, Dracula.
All right, my friend. I thought we were doing a podcast, not a horror flick. And I remember I say horror.
Yeah.
Not the other one. Horror.
Yeah.
I want to make sure my diction's good on that.
We are talking about Renfield.
Renfield,
yeah.
Mitch, why don't you kind of give an essence of what's kind of going on? Who made this? What the summary of this is?
All right. So, Studio is brought to you by Universal Pictures, directed by Chris McKay, screenplay Ryan Ridley, and Robert Kirkman of The Walking Dead fame. Summary, Renfield. I had to. Dracula's henchman, an inmate at the lunatic asylum for decades, longs for a life away from the Count, his various demands, and all the bloodshed that comes with them.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
interesting.
thank you, IMDb, for the summary, but thank you for getting that all up. So I'll go ahead and split up this episode. We're going to go ahead and split up into 3 sections. Our non-spoiler section, where we talk about our first thoughts, the cast performances, other non-spoilery things, then we'll go into our review, and Mitch will split up how we do our reviews, and then we'll go into our spoiler section.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, what are your first thoughts on Renfield?
This movie was fucking weird.
I feel like that's just in the trailer of Nick Cage just being Dracula. I think that's a given right there. But
I mean, yeah, this movie was fucking weird. I mean, it was a different kind of weird that you and I have seen this past year and a half since we've done it, because we've seen some weird movies.
We've seen a crocodile sing and become TikTok famous.
This is our second vampire film, because Morbius.
Yeah.
So I will say this movie is better than Morbius. it's better than Morbius.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a big fan of Chris McKay. I will be 100% honest with you.
Okay.
I think he's a little bit too funny. I think a lot of his comedy kind of draws away from the story, but here it didn't to a certain aspect. I think that helped. Robert Kirkman with the screenplay helped out a lot. But Nicolas Cage as Dracula. Wow. I mean, I never thought I would want something like that, but I got it. No. And I kind of wanted more of it. But overall, the movie was kind of a mixed bag for me, because like a third time, this movie was fucking weird. Yeah. Zach, you go ahead.
Yeah. So overall, I thought it was. It's a mixed bag. Like, it's there are great elements, there are not so great elements. There's just this kind of weird feeling all throughout it. And like, I kind of went for it though, because like that's like you said. I guess since we kind of already talked about him, let's just kind of like talk about kind of the draw of this movie. Nick Cage as being Count Dracula is what kind of brings you into the theater.
Yeah, that's the only reason why we decided to see it, pretty much.
And I'm not gonna lie, Nick Cage plays Dracula better than Nick Cage plays Nick Cage.
So, but here's the thing: I don't think he was playing Dracula. I think he was playing Bela Lugosi Dracula, because the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, this is just him doing a Bela Lugosi Dracula impression. That's all. But I loved it.
But that's the point. Like,
I know.
It's really weird. It's really Nick Cage.
It is.
And that's really all I can say. But I will say, I want to give him props to the different kind of formations of Dracula he kind of goes through. We won't kind of get into it because it gets a little bit spoilery as it kind of goes. Sure. But you see a lot of differences in phases of Dracula that you actually kind of have to tip your hat off to the actor for even trying to do it. So
I'm the only one with a hat here.
congrats.
Yeah,
man.
good for Nicolas Cage. I'm glad he's starting to finally get back into the swing of things. But Nicholas Hoult,
the other Nick of this film. I've usually been like a decent fan of Nicholas Hoult, like not the best, not the worst, but this one I felt like he actually did a decent job at, but it wasn't still his best. It was just kind of one note throughout the entire thing of playing the victim, which I'm okay with, but like there wasn't really much of a change in him besides the beginning initial change, which kind of hurt. I'm not gonna lie. Like he kind of goes back and forth between like, should I be with Dracula? Should I be my own person? But that's the line, and he never goes over it or under it. He just kind of sticks to it the entire time, and it just kind of hurts overall.
Well, I will second that. His one note performance at the beginning almost put me to sleep. Let's just put it that way. But then Nicolas Cage came in and actually just went all like overacting. But do I say he overpowered Nicholas Hoult? Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
He did. But I just feel like Nicholas Hoult, I feel like he just keeps getting picked for these weird roles. And he tries to do it in a case of like, oh, I'm going to play the straight man. Yeah. And it just doesn't work.
Well, and I also feel like the script also didn't really help as well, too, because it's really not a really well-written character either. So I think he probably did the best of what he could. I think he was the right actor to try to attempt it, but for what they were going for as of, but it wasn't the best character to begin with, so it also didn't lead to the best performance. But one thing that I think a lot of people are going to be split on is Awkwafina's character, which is Officer Rebecca Quinn. Overall, she feels like the most human of the cast. But the thing is that it really depends on if you like Awkwafina as an actor, because she really seems to kind of be hitting the Tom Cruise way of acting of it's Tom Cruise playing this, it's Tom Cruise playing that.
But now it's Awkwafina.
But now it's Awkwafina playing this, Awkwafina playing that. And Awkwafina just kind of brings the same Awkwafina-ness that she has in any other character. I personally liked it. I think her jokes are the ones that actually hit a little bit more than other jokes that were attempted.
Right.
But what did you think of Awkwafina?
She was fine. I'm personally, I've only seen her. This is only the second movie I've seen her in. The first being Shang-Chi. But she's fine. I think if she just keeps doing what she's been doing, she'll get meteor roles. But this one, I mean, it was just, I'm going to be in that category of this was Awkwafina just being Awkwafina.
Gotcha.
So, but not saying I don't like her as an actress. She's very talented.
Sure.
I just think there needs to be meteor roles for her.
For sure. I think she's kind of getting casted in kind of the same thing of like Nicholas Hoult, of like she has a type and she's sticking to her type right now.
Right, I would agree.
But that's it for our cast. Let's talk about one thing that you really were kind of talking about out of the theater, which is the tone of this film. What is the tone of this film, my friend?
I don't think the movie knew what kind of tone it was, because I know you're going to get to it, but you kind of knew right away that it was a comedy, and I also knew it was a comedy. But what kind of comedy was it? I couldn't figure it out, because at points it was like a horror comedy. Others it was an action comedy. Others it was like an action horror buddy comedy. And I'm just like, okay, so what are you trying to do? You can be you can have pieces of multiple categories.
Sure.
But it just didn't know which category to stick to.
Sure.
If it would have stuck to one of them, it would have been a really good movie.
Sure.
But it just didn't stick to one particular one.
Sure. I feel, to me it's an action comedy with a horror element. I think, and that horror element always comes through once you actually get into when Nicolas Cage comes on with Dracula. That's where it comes in. But overall, it does have a bit of an iffy and ebb and flowy tone that it doesn't stay consistent. So I will also recommend that. All right, Mitch. I split up the episode, so could you go ahead and explain for our viewers at home how we review movies?
Yeah, sure. So we have 3 categories, 2 phantom ones, but the 3 main ones that we particularly like to stick to, because we don't do number system. We think that's kind of redundant and boring. So we have 3 categories. The first one is Feed It to the Dog, meaning we didn't really enjoy the film. We still think you should go see it, form your own opinion, whether it's in theaters, wait till streaming, whatever you so desire. But we did not enjoy it at all. We also have Needs to Cook a Little More, meaning it may have needed an actor change, a script change, a director change, anything that maybe just a side of blood. Or just anything to get to that next category.
You will get the. This isn't very spoilerly, but I will say you will get blood in this movie.
Yeah,
if there's one thing you'll get, it will be blood. But
nice. But the next category, which is Eat It Up, meaning we enjoyed it. We definitely think that you need to go see it in theaters if you are able to. But if you can't, definitely make sure that you get it whenever it's streaming or on DVD, whatever. But Zach,
yeah,
you go first.
All right. So I think, even though I did have fun with this movie, there are some glaring issues of it. So to me, this is a very staple Cook a Little More. Not everyone's going to like it. Not everyone's going to hate it. Not everyone's going to love it. There are some tonal issues. The casting is a bit iffy, and there are definitely some script things that need to be worked on. So I would say it's a solid Cook a Little More, because I still did have a bit of fun.
Yeah,
but some of the jokes didn't work and all that. So it's a Cook a Little More for me.
It's also a Cook a Little More for me as well. Honestly, if it wasn't for Nicolas Cage's performance, this would have been a Feed to the Dog.
Probably, yeah.
But you pretty much pinned the nail right on the head, so I'm not going to waste any more time with that, because I agreed with you everything. So now, before we get to the next section,
what did you think?
Yeah, comment. Let us know what you thought of it. What's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
Or what's your favorite interpretation of Dracula now that we have yet another actor to join the catacombs?
Absolutely. But don't forget to like, subscribe, comment like we mentioned. Follow our other accounts such as TikTok or Twitch. We got a lot of new things coming. But it's time, my friends. We are entering into a certain category. What's our alarm?
Let's eat.
Let's eat.
Let's eat them spoilers, my friends. Yeah. So the first thing that we have to talk about here is the very first line that is spoken in this film, which is about your cameo, Mitch.
Shut up.
So Mitch evidently has a double life of being a drug dealer. Okay, so the first line of the film is has to do with a bad boyfriend named Mitch. And the second that happened, Mitch just leaned forward in his chair and he was not having it. It was so funny. Because it was the best laugh of the entire movie for me, and it makes no sense to anyone else, but I just couldn't help but laugh.
Because the word Mitch is never, the name is never referenced in a movie. And because there's tons of Zachs.
There's tons of Zachs.
But the first time in a long time that a Mitch is mentioned, he's a bad guy.
A bad boyfriend and a drug dealer? You just don't have some good things on your resume, my friend.
God damn. No wonder I'm still single.
But one thing that we have to talk about that I think was a really kind of weak thing, made sense story-wise, but a very weak MacGuffin, is Dracula's blood is like this huge this MacGuffin that like if you
it's
get
healing.
It's the healing of everything, and so I thought it was very interesting that they killed the support group, but they all brought him back with a Kool-Aid. Like let's just pour Dracula's blood over him and they'll be fine. I was like, oh, okay, that was a cheap way of doing it.
That was
whatever.
So stupid. But yeah,
but
Dracula dies.
Dracula dies, quote unquote.
Sure.
They're like, we're not entirely sure if we can kill him, but we'll cut him up into the smallest fucking bits and dump him down the drain, and hopefully he won't come back for a while. He's someone else's problem. Let them be the future problem.
But my thing is, like, Universal has this really good opportunity with its classic monsters. Like, they had a really good Invisible Man movie. I know they're trying to like include other, like, not a shared universe, but we saw the trailer for your top 10
Demeter. Yep.
Which we'll talk about.
We'll talk
that
about
later.
that. That's not.
But Universal. I wish they would figure out their monsters.
It's weird because they got him so right at the beginning, and they just can't capture that magic now.
No.
Now, this by no means was them trying to capture that magic with Dracula. They're trying something completely different with Dracula, but...
Sure.
Yeah, no, this is a one and done. This is not a franchise. Like, let it die here, please.
Yeah.
But
maybe a spin-off or like a prequel. Have Nicolas Cage actually do more Bela Lugosi.
But that's our review of Renfield, my friends.
Yeah. So comment your favorite Nicolas Cage movie. Comment your favorite iteration of Dracula. Please, for the love of God, do not say it's the Francis Ford Coppola film.
But anyway, just, give us a like, give us a subscribe,
Comments.
Do what you can, but like
before we kill each other.
But thanks for joining us on this journey, my friends.
Yeah.
Until the next time, I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we are not Dracula, but we are Excellent Little Podcasts.